the most important innovation in strength training, from what I've seen over the last 20 years, is extreme range strength training, right? So extreme range strength training means training the muscle in its most shortened position and its most lengthened position. Now, understanding the contribution that connective tissue is making to strength is the most important and the most misunderstood, undervalued concept in strength. My mentor in strength, my biggest one, has been Charles Poliquin. I'm also a huge fan of lots of different coaches, but Charles Poliquin is the guy who I think broke down a lot of concepts, and one of his key concepts was structural balance, the concept of balance between the biceps and the triceps, between the upper body and the lower body. These are really, really important concepts and a massive contribution. What wasn't really clear, but was there in the mix of Charles's programs, was the importance of inner range and outer range training. He just didn't take it to the extremes. And I think it's in the extremes that we're going to get the biggest results. So for me, there are three key ways to look at extreme range strength. Okay, so we want to be looking at, there's different ways to break it down within the body. Anterior chain range, posterior chain range, and then lateral range. Okay, so you have these three areas, and then you can, within that, divide into the section of the body inside of the anterior chain. So you could be really mobile and flexible through the thoracic spine, but not through the cervical, or not through the lumbar, or not through the hip flexors, or not through the rectus femoris, the quads, the knees, even the tibialis anterior. A lot of people have a lot of tightness there, even into the tendons of the toes. So if we can identify which chain is the weakest, which is the tightest, and also then which component within that chain needs the most work, I do believe that we can make a huge leap forward in strength training for athletes, in preparation for yoga, to be able to do yoga more healthily and get faster results. The everyday gym goer, if these concepts, I see them coming into mainstream strength training over the next months, weeks, days, and for sure years, but things change so quickly. You can see with Knee Ability program and the way it's taking over the world. There are lots and lots, many thousands of people currently active on Ben Patrick's Knees Over Toes program. The reason, the special sauce within that program is exactly what I'm talking to you about right now. When you understand joint ranges and how to apply that systematically for every joint in the body, you can open up a whole new level of performance. So this is the concept of extreme range strength. Now, we've had the range of strength program within Real Movement, which has basically been the evolution of this idea. So Lucas and I worked together developing on the concepts that were kind of coming out of range of strength, that were coming out of work with gymnastic bodies, and lots of ideas and kind of things have melted together to build that range of strength. And what that has become is something for people who want to specialize in training range, who want to really go as deep as possible to use as many, lots of different movements, and to do, longer sort of range sessions. What we've seen with Athletic Truth Group, and really at the heart of Real Movement, is using that extreme range training as a supplement, using it as a way to be able to get bigger barbell lifts, to be much more durable, to not miss training sessions because of tendon flare-ups, to be able to cater for people who have high systemic inflammation and train them in a way that suits their system and their health challenges. So you just get this much bigger system, but the goal within Real Movement is for range to be an addition and not a standalone. Okay, so it's like a supplement. In the same way that powerlifting, bodybuilding, endurance training, these are all supplements. Range is a supplement. Juggling is a supplement. They don't need to be standalone components. Now, if you want to build a business around any one of those individual things, obviously that can happen. But as far as optimizing the human experience and preparing people for life, giving them the biggest base to go and live well, then we need range also to fit within a bigger system. Okay, so what we really need to do in terms of extreme range strength is 5 to 10 minutes a day. Once we understand the concepts it can easily fit within a strength training program, within your skills development, within the whole package, so that it doesn't become a whole focus in itself. It doesn't have to be at the sacrifice of your body composition goals, of your strength goals. Okay, so this is what we're going to develop with the Extreme Range Strength Program, how you can supplement your training, 5 and 10 minute sessions, really break it down joint by joint, anterior chain, posterior chain, lateral chain, and identify where the weakness is. There's also no static stretching within this. Okay, there is no need for static stretching for anyone who is primarily focused on strength, performance, longevity. Stretching in itself is just an extremely inefficient, time-efficient method to get to the result of movement. Okay, so by doing this work, you're going to be able to, static stretch to a level that very few people ever get to. It's simply a question of physics, and we'll explain that more as we go through. This is the concept of extreme range strength.